Hey fellow tennis nerds, I hope all is well. I wanted to do a brief vlog about the new Wilson Blade version 8 that's been revealed now. First review is in from Tennis Warehouse. I always want to try to be the first to review a racket, but I haven't yet received this frame. It's supposedly on the way, but it's been delayed and there's been some communication of, different launch dates back and forth. Hopefully I get this soon. Really curious to try it. From what I gather, it's not a huge update in terms of how it plays, but it does look amazing and I'm really keen to see what the subtle differences are. The reviews so far seem overall very, very positive, but I want to try it and see myself if there's a big difference from version 7. But if looking at the stiffness rating, it seems pretty much similar, very low and good flex, pretty low powered frame. The chameleon style paint job looks amazing, and that's something I have to say, but they've also revealed a US Open paint job, which you can now buy from Tennis Warehouse already. So the US Open paint job is out. I will put some links in the description below where you can check it out or buy it. It doesn't look quite as cool, in my opinion, as the chameleon one, but it's a nice looking frame. And let's have a look at the specs. The only specs out so far that I have is for the version 8 1619 Blade 98. So the Blade 98 is the one that's first revealed. I guess we will see more models coming up. This frame should be launched and properly revealed as of 1st September, but it seems like that's shifting a little bit. So we're nearing US Open. I guess this is about time to reveal this frame and launch it to the world. So if I look at the specs, and I have to check my phone a little bit here, before they used to have the field flex, they now changed that to 45, which I guess is the 45 braid from the Pro Staff line. Nothing very different there. It's supposed to increase stability. That's interesting. They've also introduced direct connect technology, which sounds like something you'd use in a printer, which fuses the butt cap directly to the carbon fiber portion of the handle for added stability. We all love stability. I think the main thing us recreational club level players are looking for is a lightweight, easy to swing frame, very maneuverable, but with still good stability. And that's the hardest thing to get, because you want maneuverability and you want stability, and those things usually contrast each other. But in this case, that's what they're trying to achieve. Sometimes you can achieve that stability by upping the stiffness, but then you might, get arm issues. The sensation is not so nice. But if you have a low flex, the stability usually comes from weight. So you have to have a high swing weight, a high weight of the racket. Here they try to achieve that still with a pretty low weight using these technologies. And it's from the play testers, it sounds like it works, but I need to try it for myself to really understand if it does. So the new chameleon paint, that's the thing that really stands out, where you look at it and say, wow. I think the Angel Octane paint was somewhere in the region of that, really nice color shifting in a purple style. That was also a very good looking paint job. And now keen to see what Wilson has done. When I hold it in my hands, I will make the video ASAP so you get an understanding of how this plays. But if we look at the specs for the Wilson Blade 98 1619 pattern, that's the one that's out. I think the 1820 is very similar. Last time the 1820 was a little bit of a higher swing weight. It was a bit more demanding, the 1820, more for the advanced player. The 1619 was a little bit more forgiving, a little bit easier to swing. And we'll see if they go the same path here. I would assume so. So 98 square inches, 27 inch length, nothing strange. The weight is 305 grams unstrung or 320 grams strung, which is 11.3 ounces. The balance, it's a blade, so the balance is in the head. It should carve through the air like a blade. That's the whole point of the name. It's 5 points headlight, so usually have these kind of 98 square inch rackets. They are a little bit more headlight in feel, but the blade is supposed to be quite stable, quite low headlight balance. 5 points headlight. That's 32.6 centimeters approx. Swing weight, a pretty manageable 320. This is a player frame. I guess you would need to be around 4.0 to really, benefit from the Blade 98. When you talk about the Blade 100s, then there's a potential to be a lower ranked player and still use them comfortably. But the 98 is pretty demanding. So I would say it's a 4.0, maybe 3.5 plus frame, but it's quite demanding, quite difficult to generate power with, especially with a low stiffness rating. 61 stiffness, as I said, that is pretty low. It means it's around 64 without strings. You add strings, it drops a few points. The beam width, 21 millimeter across. I think that's a good beam. It's thin, but it's not too thin where it can be a bit anemic when it handles pace. So I think 21mm across is a good beam width. Braided graphite, we all know the composition there. And there's the US Open paint job, primarily black with some cool accents, kind of like a map. And then there's the famous chameleon now, or soon to be famous, because I think it looks very, very good. I think this is the one thing that will stand out, and then we'll see, you know, people will probably flock to buy it. I think this will be a success for them, even if it plays slightly worse or slightly better than the predecessor, but we'll see. What's happened to the blade over the years? The line was launched with the N blade. That was the first blade, N blade 98. That was extremely plush, extremely low flex rating, lower than this even. You really feel the racket flex with the N blade. Then they crispened it, they stiffened it up, got a little bit more free power. I think that was a good idea. I thought the M blade was pretty difficult to use, although there's some people that swear by it. The K blade that came after was pretty much a bit more solid, nice and crisp. A lot of pros are using the K-blade layup because it has a very not a harsh feel, but it's crisp, stiff, gives you some good power, has a pretty nice sensation when you hit the ball. All the K-Factor rackets, they had that quite crisp, stiff feeling to them, the Carafite Black. So if you like the K-Factor, you usually like the sensation across the line of the K-Factor tech. They had the BLX after that. I think the second generation of the BLX, the old black one with silver paint, was a really good one. A lot of fans of that one. My favorite blade, besides the K blade, was the 2015 version. 1619 and 1820 patterns were both really good. A little bit stiffer, somewhat dampened, ampli-field tech, parallel drilling if I remember correctly. But that's probably my favorite, the V5. Then they introduced countervail. With a more muted feel, a little bit harder to know the ball there. I didn't quite like it, but then I have friends that love the countervail edition, so it's all about taste in the end, what works for you. For me, I prefer the 2015. I know better players than me that liked the next edition, the version 6. And when the version 7 came out, that was 2019, 2 years ago. It was definitely a return to a more soft flex, more comfortable feeling, a little bit more demanding frame. You have to, you know, generate more power yourself. Some players hated it, some players loved it. I prefer the version 7. It felt like it was an improvement and a step in the right direction. And I think they understood that that was kind of the overall consensus among racket buyers. So now they come with version 8 that spec-wise looks pretty similar. We'll see when the other models come in, but judging from the Tennis Warehouse listed specs, it seems like it's a slight, you know, update, improvement, maybe an addition to improve the stability, but the specs overall are very, very similar. So I'm very keen to get this frame now. Hope to get it soon. Hope to give you a review and my first impressions. Usually upload my first impressions always on Patreon, patreon.com/tennisnerd. Please check that out if you're not a Patreon member. Really appreciate the support. If you want to buy the Blade version 8 or another racket or string or shoe, please consider doing so through the links in the description below. I get a small commission at no cost to you, and it helps Tennis Nerds stay alive, helps me make more videos and do more of this stuff. I think that's all for now. Really keen to get the Blade. If you have played with the Blade version 8, please let me know how it plays in the comments below. Really keen to hear your thoughts. I will keep updating you on the topic as soon as I get a bit more information, as soon as I get the frame in the hands myself. The reviews have really piqued my interest and the specs look like they align with what I like. So very keen. Let me know what you think. Have a nice day and don't forget to play some tennis.